Hey guys, Frosty Knives here, back with another EU book review. And today we are going to be taking a look at the book Honor Among Thieves by James S.A. Corey. Now, James S.A. Corey is a pen name for two authors, Daniel Abraham and Ty Frank. This is their one and only contribution into the Star Wars expanded universe. This is a used copy that I got. It is an ex-library copy. And I like getting these because they come all nice and covered with shiny plastic and they're very well cared for. Here is the cover on the front, which shows Han and Chewie, Luke in the background, Leia over here, and this is Scarlet Hark, who's in the book. And on the back, we have a nice picture of the Millennium Falcon and the Rebel Alliance symbol. Now, little background on this story, on this book. This book is actually part 2 of what was supposed to be a trilogy. This is part 2 of what they call the Empire and Rebellion trilogy. The first book, and the first book was Razor's Edge. It's up here. We'll be reading that soon. And this was the second book. Now, this was a trilogy series that was supposed to write one book that was focused on each of the big 3 of the original trilogy Star Wars characters. First book was Razor's Edge. And that was focusing on Leia. Book number 2 was this one, focusing on Han Solo. And then there was book 3, which was supposed to focus on Luke Skywalker. But then a funny thing happened. 2014 happened. And right in the middle of this trilogy, Disney came along and decanonized all of the books, therefore leaving the Luke book out flying in the breeze. And so the trilogy thusly became a duology in the expanded universe with just these 2 books. But don't worry, because what Disney did was it took the Luke Skywalker book and published it under its own canon. So if you want to read the Luke book, you can go get that. It's Heir to the Jedi, and that is what was supposed to have been book 3 in this trilogy, but is now just a standalone in the Disney canon. So maybe someday, if I'm curious, I will pick it up. I just have no real desire to read the new Disney book. So we have this one. And this is a Han Solo book. And the plot of this is pretty simple. As you can see, it's very thin. There's only 244 pages in it. And it's a really simple story. Leia asks Han to go pick up Scarlet Hark. Now, Scarlet Hark was a rebel spy who had been placed in the Empire and was spying on the Empire for the better part of 2 years. And now it is time for her to come home and to divulge all of her information. So, except she's sort of trapped on a world in the core. So she's like, you know what? Han and Chewie, can you take the Falcon and go get her, bring her back to the Rebel Alliance? And so he does. Except when he gets there to pick her up, she doesn't want to go. She's like, nah. I need to finish my mission. And here's my mission. I have discovered that the Empire has discovered a major weapon that could literally end the war right now. And we need to go find it and get it for ourselves. And what is that weapon, you may ask? That weapon is a hyperspace nullifier. So the Empire has discovered a weapon that was made millions of years ago by a race that has been defunct and dead and gone for millions of years. And they found this hyperspace nullifier, which when they turn it on, it is going to render hyperspace all across the galaxy as useless. That's right. Wherever you are, poof, You're just going to drop there. You're going to, whatever system you're in, when they turn this beast on, you are going to be stuck there. There will be no more interstellar travel because they found a way to turn off hyperspace. And if it sounds a little far-fetched, it is. Even for Star Wars science. So, the book is essentially Han and Chewie and her and Scarlet racing to this planet, trying to beat the Empire to this planet to try to get this weapon or this device. They do get there. The Empire gets there. They wind up fighting the Empire, and they wind up finding this device, and they wind up, at the end of the day, destroying this device. Now, they find this device. It's located on a planet, like out in wild space, and the planet is hollow, and the device is like literally the core of the planet. So this singular device on this singular planet, way out in bumfuck nowhere, is able to render hyperspace across the entire known galaxy as useless just by flipping a switch, turning it on. As far as Empire super weapons go, it's certainly not the goofiest one I've ever read about, or the goofiest one we will read about in the expanded universe, but certainly I think in the top 5. It's never really explained, even in a poor way, how it actually works, which is probably because how would you describe that? And so that's essentially the story. It's silly. It's a little silly. It's a little goofy. It's a little far-fetched. It's really hard to sort of digest that as far as goofy super weapons go. Fortunately, it is a quick read. There's nothing inherently sort of wrong with the book. It's fairly well written. Goes at a fairly decent pace, and the characters are fairly well written out. Only problem is you're not going to remember that in next week. There are too many. It sits among too many other good books in the expanded universe, and unfortunately, what's going to happen is that this book is just simply going to be overshadowed by all of the great books that are in the Star Wars canon. So, is it bad? No. Does it really change the course of the timeline of the expanded universe that we're on? No. Did it need to be written? Probably not. It doesn't really add anything. It doesn't really take anything away, but it doesn't add anything to the canon. And at the end of the day, it's just fluff. It's a nice fluff little story that you could probably read in a couple of days. And you're going to forget about it as you go on to bigger and better things. It's not going to stick with you. I don't know if it was ever intended to stick with you. But it suffers from just being a small island of mediocrity in a larger ocean of really well-written books. So there's not a whole lot to say about Star Wars Honor Among Thieves, other than it's okay, and it's a good pastime, but at the end of the day, you're not going to remember it. You're certainly not going, and it's certainly not going to influence any of the course of the Star Wars timeline. So, should you read it? Only if you really want to. Only if you're a completionist. You can absolutely skip this book and miss out on nothing. I highly doubt they will even ever reference this book, and who knows what happens to Scarlet at the end of the book. She's probably just going to fly off into the wild unknown like so many other mediocre characters that have come and gone. I gave this book a 3 on Goodreads just because it was a quick read, and it was fairly well and they picked a topic and they stuck to it. They didn't meander. So the topic was, we got to get to this weapon before the Empire does, and we got to nullify it, and they do. They stick to it really well. There's no tangents. There's no subplots. It's just singular story, and they stick the landing, and it's fine. It's fine for what it is. Once again, it's another lukewarm Coke, sitting out on your patio deck. Is it bad to drink it? No. But will it be as refreshing as a ice cold bottle of Coke that you just yanked out of your fridge? Absolutely not. So guys, that is my rather short and uninspiring review of Star Wars Honor Among Thieves. Read it if you want. It's not a must, but if you want a somewhat fun, rompy kind of Han Solo story, well, there are better ones out there than this one. But again, read it if you're a completionist and you're doing what we're doing and you're going through the EU. So guys, that is my review. The next book that we're going to read is Ruins of Dantooine, which was a book based on a very old MMORPG video game. Came out in, 20 years ago. That's the next book that we're going to be reading. So guys, tell me what you thought. Have you read this book? What are your thoughts on it? What are your thoughts on this? Or any other books that we have written, or any other part of the expanded universe that we've explored? As always, put your comments in the boxes down below. Let me know what you think. And as always, if you like the video, give it a subscribe, give it a thumbs up, share it around, tell your friends, tell your enemies, tell those people that just love to drink lukewarm Coca-Cola. Monsters that they are. And as always, next time, thank you for coming to my TED Talk, and I will see you in the next review.